Hey friend, this is Rick Renner, and today I'm in a cemetery in Moscow because we're having a funeral. And so I wanted to speak to you just for a moment about a very different scripture from my Bible, Philippians chapter 1, verse 23, where Paul says, "For I'm in a strait between two, having a desire to depart and to be with Christ, which is far better." Paul was in prison facing the reality of death. And when he said, "I have a desire to depart," that word desire is the Greek word which could be used in two different ways. In both ways, it's great. In the first way, it described Roman soldiers that were in their tents on the front line, battling, and finally they have won their final victory. And it's time for them to shut down their tents and move on home. So in one sense, Paul says, I have a desire to depart. I have been fighting this battle a long time, and what I'd like to do is just shut down the tent and head on home. The second way this word desire is used, to depart, desire to depart, is to describe the setting of a sail on a ship. That word depart. They would set the big sail, the ship would catch the wind, and finally it was no longer just sitting in one spot, but the wind would literally drive it on to its ultimate destination. And so when Paul said, I have a desire to depart, he literally means, if I could do what I want to do, I would just shut things down, close up the tent, go on home. What I'd like to do, I'd like to depart, set the sail, catch the wind, and just move on to heaven and be with Christ, which he says is far better. And in Greek, that is the superlative, which means far, 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 far better. But in the following verse, he says, however, it's more needful for me to abide in the flesh. He knew it wasn't time for him to go yet. So, today I just wanted to give you something to think about. Death is a departure. It's just closing the tent, heading on home after the final battle has been won. It's setting the sail. It's going on to be with Jesus, to be with Christ, which is far better. What a hope we have as believers that we really do not have to sorrow as the rest of the world sorrows. Well, I hope that's a new insight for you today, something for you to think about.